Well, good afternoon and welcome back to Restaurant Review. I'm your host, Bob Bockelman. It's the 19th of March, St. Joseph Day here in New Orleans. We've got a beautiful day, return of summer to us, and we're really excited about our show as well. As you know, every week we're bringing you new restaurants, of which we're not going to fail to deliver today, and musicians in our community. And once again, we have that special promo. We want you to stay tuned where you can actually attend one of our beautiful galas that are coming up. So stay tuned at the end of the show. We'll tell you how. But meanwhile, we do have an in-studio. No, we don't have an in-studio musician. I'm sorry about that. In fact, folks, we need you to get us some in-studio musicians. All of a sudden, we've had a drought on that. You know, our good friend Phil Malone's son, we have to get him out here and see what the problem is. It's been at least 4 weeks since we've had a live performance for you. So if you know any musicians, don't hesitate to contact us to let us know so we can get them on the show for you to see. But meanwhile, we're going to go back to our archive. I think this group was last year, really talented little trio, and they go by the name of Category 5, and the lead star is husband and wife duo, but the lead star is Miss Camille Alba. So let's take a listen to Camille Alba and the Category 5.
I learned it when you put me down, that I come from a damn small town, and rumors love to hang around, and people wanna hold you down. You loved me like a line of coke, then turned me into such a joke. I breathed you in and water tub, but we were only small town folk.
Where do I go from here? Where did I go from there?
The sign reads 200 miles to New Orleans. My heart bleeds each time I think of you and all these things. My soul is holding you hostage
In my dreams, hear voices tell me to move, and I just don't know what it means.
I hear you're doing well up there, a wife and kid, no time to spare, and hard times, yeah, you've earned your share. But I don't even really care. I'm back to where I was before, just singing to an empty floor. Some people would like to hang around. It's kinda like a damn small town. It's kinda like a damn small town. Where do I go from here? Where did I go from there? The sign reads 200 miles to New Orleans. My heart bleeds each time I think of you and all these things. My soul is holding you hostage
In my dreams, hear voices tell me to move, and I just don't know what it means.
I learned it when you put me down, that I come from a damn small town, and rumors love to hang around, and people wanna hold you down.
That was the plaintive sound of Category 5 and that unforgettably raspy voice of the lead singer Camille Alba. So I know you enjoyed that as much as we did, and they'll be back around for 2 more songs during the show. So stick around, plus all the great exciting events. But meanwhile, we want to get into the mainstay, the menu, the proportions that you come for to dine every week, and that is the restaurant of the day. And we're very pleased to bring you a brand new restaurant. It's only 4 months old, if I've got it correct. It's located right downtown in Jackson Square. Can you believe that? How much more central can you get to the French Quarter and to the city of New Orleans? And we're proud to have with us the owner and chef, Miss Lan Do. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Bob. Thanks for having me here.
And the name of your great restaurant is so functional and easy, is the Noodle Bar and Tea Shop. Is that right?
Correct. That's what we do. We serve mainly noodles and lots of different teas.
Right. And you're located centered, like I say, I think it's the 700 block in Decatur, exactly across from Jackson Square. Now, people say, well, there's no restaurant there. Right across are those steps going up to the moonwalk. And, of course, everyone knows those steps because on the weekends especially, we've got a lot of troubadours out there entertaining the tourists as well as the locals. Well, on either side of the staircase, you won't believe, set underneath that moonwalk are different shops. And Lan has decided the one in between the Café du Monde and the steps are hers, and it's called, as we mentioned, Noodle Bar and Tea Shop. What's interesting about it is she's got a great patio leading down into the all-glass wall of the restaurant. So you don't see the restaurant per se, you see the great set of tables, and you're going to see some of those pictures that we've taken of the interior and the exterior of the restaurant as we talk. Tell us a little bit about it. Is it correct you've been open 4 months now?
Well, actually, we've been open for 6 months.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
No problem.
And tell us, how did you decide to open this restaurant?
Well, me and my partner, we've been in the restaurant business for quite a while now. We actually do have a few Japanese restaurants.
Yeah, you do. That's right. Tell us a little bit about that to show people all your credentials. Not locally anymore, do you?
No, it's not local. We actually have 2 in Jackson, Mississippi, and we have 1 in Tennessee.
Wow.
And this is our first noodle bar, but we've always loved noodles.
Right.
And, we're big tea drinkers, so, we decided to incorporate tea and noodles. I mean,
and what's great about it is the noodles aren't just specifically, even though you had Japanese restaurants, aren't just Japanese. They're Pan-Asian. You'll have
Correct.
Thai different noodles. So this is, again, something for everybody. For those people who've tried maybe a Chinese restaurant or a Thai restaurant, you're going to find something that you can equate to here. So what's really good at your adventure is you're going to get to try things you've never tried, but at the same time, you're going to have available to you all the known noodle dishes and all that you've seen in a lot of the restaurants that you've tried for. Now let's talk a little bit about size. All right, 6 months you've been there. I know you've got a great a noodle bar, like a sushi bar, noodle bar, and I think that seats about 10 people or so?
At the bar area, we can seat around 10 people. We do have little tables on the inside.
A couple of tables on the inside, and then these great dining tables outside with the umbrellas, especially right now. Tell us about how many you see out there. I think we'll get some pictures of that pretty soon.
We can seat around 20 people on the outside on the patio.
Great. So so your total restaurant maybe 40, 50 folks.
Correct.
Great. Well, this is really, like I say, as for setting, folks, on a pretty day like today, you're not going to get a better place because you're going to be fighting all of the tourists that are out there as well. But it's well worth it. You'll see from what are the stuff we're going to present to you today. Let's talk about hours and days of operation. What do you have?
We're open 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
Okay.
From 11 in the morning to 10 at nighttime.
Okay. 7 days a week, 11 to 10. Is that right?
Correct.
Excellent. And folks, another thing that's really good is they do some delivery. I know certainly in the French Quarter, huh?
Correct. We deliver in the French Quarter, the Marigny, and part of the CBD.
Part of the CBD. Well, great, folks. So a lot of the workers in the CBD will find this great if they can get delivery, especially some of these dishes when the weather's inclement or something. You wouldn't hesitate. This would be great to have it delivered to the office or residents in the workers in the Quarter or in the Marigny. So it's really got a lot to offer, but if you get a chance, it's nothing better than going ahead and eating it fresh and live right there in the scene. Let's see what else we need to talk about. Anything else about the restaurant you want to tell us before we actually start taking a look at some of the great dishes you have?
Well, the noodle bar and tea shop. The reason why we have it, noodles. Most of our noodles are made fresh, and we make it there. A lot of our appetizers we make there for home. I mean, it's all homemade.
We're going to see that, and that's what's really good, folks. A lot of these places that we do, you can get similar noodle dishes or appetizers or buying things that are store-bought. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but you can always taste a difference when you're tasting something that's been made homemade. So this is what we want to emphasize. All their noodles and their appetizers are made homemade. You're going to see that when we talk about it in detail. So that alone is well worth for you to give them a try. Don't forget, the name of it is Noodle Bar and Tea Shop. Londo will be there and the rest of our help. If you have a chance, don't forget, if you want to call us and ask any questions, the director always puts up the phone numbers for you to give a call in case we're going to be not as clear on something that you need. But meanwhile, let's go ahead and tread forward. Let's go ahead and start with an appetizer. Start something that's familiar to most folks who's been to any Asian restaurant, and that is the Tempura Shrimp. Let's talk about that, please.
Okay. The Tempura Shrimp is a Japanese dish. It's lightly battered. It's a lightly battered tempura batter, but we mix it with something else. So we mix it with a little bit of self-rising flour, so it gives it a little bit more puffiness in a tempura shrimp. And our sauces we make there also, but we add a little bit of seaweed to our sauce.
Let's talk about the sauce. Beautiful coloring on your table setting there in the presentation. Tell us about that great-looking red sauce, please. What do you call that?
Well, that's just a tempura sauce. I mean, there's really no really fancy name for it.
But is it spicy? Is it deal? Let's talk a little bit about that for the folks so they'll know what it's like.
It's a soy-based sauce. It has a fish stock in it. It's made with a fish stock and with some with a little bit of citrus. Okay. And also a little bit of seaweed. It's stewed with seaweed.
Right. Great. Well, so it's not real. Some people spicy. It's not real spicy at all.
Correct.
A great compliment. And as she mentioned, the Japanese batter is always for people who are looking for fried things, but maybe want to get away from the heavy fried. That's what's good about Japanese batter. It's also almost so transparent. It's so light, but she adds a little bit to make it puff up to really give it a great look. And notice served with some nice, I think, accompanying broccoli. Beautiful presentation. So that's a great appetizer to start with. Now let's take a look at one of my favorites, and this is really one I'm going to put some emphasis on. Is that what we call gyoza? Gyoza is Japanese for dumplings. And let's talk about your dumplings, please.
All right, our dumplings are homemade also. We stuff the inside of the shells with beef, black mushrooms, shiitake mushrooms, with some ginseng. We have ginger.
Ginseng, I didn't know that.
We have a lot of health conscious folks in the quarters.
Right.
And and what we've noticed is everybody is just really big on eating more healthier and things that are good for you. So it's just the more fresher the ingredients we have. I mean, that's what
really great. Again, folks, you heard it's we stuff. Gyoza is very common in every Japanese restaurant. but more than likely, there's only a couple others that I know that actually make their own. So this is what's so good. You can taste the flavor. And you're putting, what was it, beef in it? Ginger?
Ginger.
And ginseng?
Ginseng. It has a little bit of shiitake mushrooms.
Shiitake mushrooms, that's the other. And then it's slightly sauteed, is that correct?
Well, it's a pan fry. What it means is it's steamed and then it slowly fries itself.
Right.
Correct.
And then again, is it the same sauce, a little different sauce on the side, isn't it?
It's a different sauce. It's actually a garlic sauce.
Garlic?
It's a sweet, very mild spicy sauce.
Sweet and okay, yeah. It's not real hot, right?
Correct.
But it's got I love the garlic flavor in it, and I think you will too. So definitely, if you like a fan of the dumpling, you're going to enjoy. If you've had them in other restaurants, you really need to try Bin Lan's place because we're talking. Well, you can taste the difference in the home cooking. So really excellent, the home stuff. Now the next thing we have is a great little salad. Now this is so delicious. It's a tofu and a seaweed or spinach. What salad is this?
It's a spinach and tofu salad. It's a very simple dish, Bob. Actually, it's just steamed tofu and steamed spinach, but we top it off with a sesame dressing, which is it's lightly sweetened and the sesames are lightly toasted. So it brings out the natural flavors of the spinach and the tofu itself.
And what's really good about this, folks, one of my favorite is the contrast of hot and cold. The spinach was nice and warm, and then the tofu, that not ice cold, but that frigid kind of difference. So the combination of the two together is delicious. Plus the look and the presentation is beautiful. This is great, really any time of the year. But right now, we couldn't get a better salad, really appetizer to start off with in the spring and summer that we're coming into. Now soups. Again, soups are limited to two things here. One is the miso soup, which of course is very standard in a lot of the Japanese restaurants, if not some of the others. And that is complimentary with your entree. Now, if you were just coming in for soup and nothing else, you could buy a cup of it. But let's take a look at the miso soup and tell us what is miso soup for those who really don't know about it.
Miso soup is a soybean. It has a soybean paste in it, and it's made with handashi, which is a fish stock. But now, since we have so many vegetarians, a lot of you can come in just ask for a vegetarian miso.
Right.
And our miso are served with all our entrees, and and you can also ask for a bowl if you come in. Right. And it will be handed to you complimentary. You just ask for one.
Excellent, excellent. Now, if you're using, obviously, a bowl like that, it's not, unless you're really a small eater, it's not going to fill you up. It's going to warm you up and not fill you up. But what's great about this place are the soups that are on trays. And we have a picture of one of them, another one we're going to talk about, which is another name. We're sticking almost with Japanese here, but we're doing, I believe this is one of your udon soups. Is that right?
Correct.
Let's take a look. This is, again, a huge, hearty bowl of soup that'll really fill anyone's day. Look at the size and look at the stuff. Let's slowly tell them all the stuff because that's a lot of ingredients in that pot.
Okay, the udon soup consists of, let's see, there's so much stuff in there, Bob. It comes with shiitake mushrooms.
Right.
We got a little bit of garnishings of, carrots, onions, green onions. We have fish cakes on top and the crab sticks.
That's the pink and white things, folks. What is a fish cake again for someone they're not going to understand that name? Can you explain it a little better?
I guess it's kind of like a fish patty.
Yes.
A fish patty.
But it's really more colorful. It's not heavily flavored, so
Correct.
nothing to be afraid of. Oh, it tastes like fish. Not at all. It's very, very light, and it's a colorful little dish. It's more consistency than flavor.
Correct.
And what else do we have in there? Because I know there's a lot more stuff. Besides the big noodles that we really don't see a lot there.
Well, all of our soups come with either chicken or shrimp, so you can
Right.
either select chicken or shrimp in there. And it has shiitake mushrooms. Okay, I don't know if I mentioned that or not. But our stock, I have to tell you about our stock, Bob, because our stock is made out of a black mushroom stock.
Black mushrooms?
Correct.
Wow.
It has fish in there also. It is a fish stock.
Right.
A fish stock with handashi, with black mushrooms, and seaweed.
Wow.
So the flavor is very smoky.
Very smoky,
very smoky.
I was wondering because it did taste different than what I've had before, so that explains it.
Correct.
The mushroom, especially stock.
Correct.
And of course, what you really couldn't see there, I don't know if we have another picture of that or not, the entire base, underneath the toppings, are the giant udon noodles really soufflate so much they become like giant worms. What is the udon noodle?
It's a wheat noodle.
So
it's just giant wheat noodles.
Well, giant wheat. Kids love them because they love to call them different things, the names, but the flavor is wonderful. And again, there's a whole bowl of those underneath those wonderful ingredients, plus the wonderful broth. So totally a great. Basically, that's a Japanese dish. But you're going to see we don't have a picture. But let's stop and talk about that. What about Vietnamese? You have a pho dish, is that soup, which is traditional Vietnamese. And for someone who's never eaten in Vietnam or one of the restaurants, tell us about your pho.
Okay, we do have the traditional Vietnamese pho. I do have a Vietnamese background to me, so I cook a lot of pho at home too. We use a beef stock with a lot of beef bones in it. We stew the beef bones for probably around 5 to 7 hours.
Wow!
So you get a very rich beef stock with the pho, and then it's garnished with green onions, red onions. You get cilantro and basil on the side.
Right. Oh yes.
And a little bit of fresh lime, just enhance it. And the main condiments. You get.
What's so great about Vietnamese food, and we'll talk more in detail about it, all the wonderful hand-grown herbs and spices, and especially it has so much of a Caribbean flavor. We talk about Vietnamese, but the use of the combination of cilantro and the lime is so Caribbean style, which is very indigenous here to some of our New Orleans cooking. So that's what's so good about it. Everything is so fresh, and that is the key to Vietnamese food, whether it's their soups or anything, everything is super fresh and grown here. Okay, now let's look at a few entrees. Then we're going to talk about some more dishes that we didn't have a chance to picture. Okay. And the first one, I believe, is going to be, it's going to be another Japanese. Is it no, I know what it is. It's your combination. You have a series of combination dishes. And I believe this one is a shrimp teriyaki, is that right?
Correct.
Let's see if we can take a look at that. And tell us what's in there. Yeah, there you go. Is that it?
Correct. Bob,
beautiful colors on here.
Our shrimp teriyaki is grilled. They're big. They're nice, big-sized shrimp.
Right.
It's grilled and it's topped with our signature teriyaki sauce. I mean, it's mild at first because, but you can always, ask us to modify it. Pretty much make it a little bit stronger, a little bit more zestier. Mm-hmm. It's served with a side of broccoli, and of course, we're noodle bars, so everything's going to be served with a little bit of noodles with it.
Oh, and these are almost like angel hair. The noodles are so fine and really, so it really is a great compliment to the shrimp, and then some lovely vegetable, again, the broccoli. But folks, a lot of people think teriyaki is and I know in Japanese it's a little heavier, the sauce,
Correct.
Which is good and very good when you're eating certain things. But in here, the sauce was much lighter, which I really thought was a wonderful compliment over the shrimp. And then really putting some of the shrimp, taking it with the pasta with this thin angel hair like noodles was really divine. Really a wonderful thing. In fact, that could be a salad. You could really cook that down and put that over. I think really serve it as a salad. It would be a great noodle salad for the summer. Very, very light. Now let's move it up a little bit. Now I know this was really great. We're going down to Thailand. We've been to Japanese, we've been a little bit to Vietnam, now we're going to Thailand. We got the staple of Thai dishes, and that is called pad Thai. Now again, for those folks who's never been to a Thai restaurant, let's take a look at those pad Thai noodles and tell us what is a pad Thai dish, please.
Okay, pad Thai noodles are rice sticks that are sautéed with usually eggs, shrimp or chicken. The thing I like about the pad Thai dish is the flavor that it has. It's a little bit sweet and a little bit spicy, but then it's garnished with like a lot of fresh herbs, kind of like you just kind of sprinkle that bean sprout right on top of it.
Yeah, why don't we in fact you go around you've got it neatly divided. A lot of things. A lot of times pad Thai will come and you'll only see the bowl of noodles with maybe cilantro on top, and everything's already together.
Correct.
What I liked about yours is that you can really doctor it or customize it. If you want to take more of the salty, like the peanut taste, or more of the spicy from the peppers, you can really do a great job. So maybe if you go around and let's talk about each of the ingredients that are on that plate, people can really understand the complexity of this dish.
Okay, the sauce that comes with the pad Thai is actually a fish sauce with tamarind. Mm-hmm. And peanuts. And what we do is a lot of people, when they cook the pad Thai, they kind of just throw the peanuts on top. But we have so many people with different allergies and things like that, Bob. So we kind of put things on the side, and that way we can let people modify what they wanted to eat. But the noodles itself, even if you left out the peanuts, I mean, it's still it has
delicious.
It has a great taste to it.
Right.
But then adding on the peanuts just give it correct, the nuttier taste and the flavor of it, and then adding more peppers to it just give it a little zest. Those limes actually tame those peppers down.
Exactly. That's how you control it. Once folks, I guess you heard there's egg. You can see a little bit of the egg there in the bottom of the plate. And then you also can, I think this might have been shrimp, but when you put chicken, what other pad thais do you, what other main
I have what we call a seafood combination, which I do a little bit of shrimp, a little bit of the fish cakes that we saw earlier, with the little pink thing, with scallops.
Scallops too?
Correct,
right.
and fresh scallops. And let's see, we do a tofu pad thai also.
Wow, now that's a good one.
Correct.
That is really good.
Now,
do you fry the tofu or is it plain?
No, they're just plain. They're just firm tofu, but we stew it first.
You stew it first. Good.
So
it's cooked. It's not just served. Oh, great. That's excellent. And I'm telling you, folks, for the New Orleans diner, us New Orleanians, we love that spice. This is the dish that you can really step it up. And Thailand is known for really being able to put the heat on when you want it. But what's good about this, as she mentioned, is that some people don't eat peanuts or allergic, so you don't have to put it on. The flavor is there already in the noodles, but the actual finely pureed peanuts there to give it a little crunch on top. Then put your pepper in as you like it, but then you've got the wonderful cilantro, that mint flavor that's so good, and then squeezing that fresh lime on top to kind of moderate that pepper level is really tremendous. If you haven't had a Thai noodle, folks, I would certainly recommend that you try it because it's going to be one of the best dishes you've ever had. And what we're showing today is just a few samples. We couldn't accommodate, as we said, all the pictures in our time. So I think we got one more entree picture for you before we go, but then we're going to talk about some of the other noodle dishes. So you see, we've got noodles from Japan, we've got them from Vietnam, and we've also got them from Thailand. So that's why it's a Pan-Asia cuisine. We're crossing all Asian continents that are famous for their cookery. And now let's see, we want to take a look at one more dish, and that is going to be your, what is that, your soba, huh?
Correct, that's the Yakasoba. And Bob, the Yakasoba, we make those noodles there in-house. So our soba are a little bit more, I guess, it has a little bit more chewiness to it, I guess. I don't know. It's more, the Italian word is al dente. The Italian word is al dente. It's very,
right.
The texture
al
is just...
Al dente means, people say, there it is, there, take a look at it. Al dente means, they don't say it's not thoroughly cooked, but it's not cooked to overcooking. So still got a little bit of a stiffness, but still, that's what's so good about the vegetables and the noodles. So go ahead, while people are taking a look, let's describe it a little further, please.
It's made with our house sauce, which is a soy-based sauce with a little bit of garlic in it. We can have it with chicken, shrimp, and it comes with carrots, scallions, onions, and a little bit of mushrooms. And Bob, just to let you know, all of our dishes, can be modified to everybody's taste. So if you like things a little bit spicy, if you like that spiciness in the Thai dish, you can also have that spicy in the Yakasoba or in the soups.
Oh, okay, well, great. Well, that's what we really need to hear. And folks, of course, New Orleanian restaurants are very famous for their hospitality and their ability to customize to their. We have a fairly large contingent of vegetarians who watch the show. And I know a lot of the food you've talked about modifying, but the idea is don't hesitate, folks. That's one thing. If you see something that has a meat dish or something, don't hesitate to ask them, can you make this meatless, or can you make this for vegetarian or vegan? So what's good about it, because of the huge number of vegetables and varieties of stuff, it's very easy for them to do, and it's not really trouble, so you're not really asking a question that you shouldn't do. So the whole idea here is because they're serving the variety, they can customize to anyone's palate, and that is really what's really excellent on here. Now, we've talked about several noodles. Now, you have one of the entrees on here called, we don't have a picture for it, called house noodles. Let's talk about what is your signature dish, house noodle.
House noodles, Bob, are ramen noodles, actually. These are what this is actually a Chinese dish, correct?
Okay, I knew it. I just wanted you to say we finally got to China.
And you know, Bob, it's funny because these are the noodles that you'll see the guys, if you went to Beijing or China, the guys that stand outside the cart and starts pulling those noodle strands, and you know,
Exactly.
That's right, and that's what it is. But you know, we don't pull it here. You know, we don't have the time to, but we do run it through a noodle machine to cut it.
There you go.
But then they are fresh noodles, and they're one of our house noodles. Everybody loves our house noodles. I think we add a little bit more ingredients into it that makes it. I can't tell you the secret ingredient, Bob, because
No,
you know.
I know that.
Well,
We do have, excuse me for interrupting, but one of our cameramen tells us we have a call. So let's take this call. We'll get right back to the house noodles. Welcome to Restaurant Review. We got Landu here celebrating the noodle bar and tea shop. Who's on the phone, please?
Yes, sir. How you doing? I'm Dwayne.
Hi, Dwayne.
I just was calling in. Are you a restaurant that just do noodles? Do you have other entrees besides the noodles?
Well, again, when you say just noodles, that is their forte. That's why we brought them on, because they're going to have noodle in the entrees. You're going to have some form of noodle. So it's not going to be just noodles, because all of the noodles, as you see, are accompanied, whether it's accompanied by a meat entree, a beef, a chicken, or whether it's a seafood entree, house noodle, as you mentioned, all the things we've been talking about. Some of the noodles are made into soups, some of them salads, entrees, but they are a mixture of vegetables, mushrooms, all kinds of combinations. So what we're trying to show you, this is something that America really doesn't know that much about unless they've been to Asian cooking, to know that in Asia, noodles are a staple, just like down here, rice is our basic, or potatoes.
Right.
Just the opposite. When you go, well, of course, in Italy, pasta. But pasta is noodles. You know, there's umpteen types of pasta, but that's a noodle.
Right.
So the same thing here in Asia. Rice is also very important, but noodles are their mainstay. And each one's got different formulas for making their noodles, size of their noodles, what ingredients, and not only that, what they put together, whether they serve it as a soup, whether they serve it as an entree. They have an unlimited variety. So what we want to do is show you today how many different things we can put together with noodles. And that's what's so talented about this cuisine. Instead of just doing Japanese, which has their own, we're showing you Japanese, Chinese, Vietnamese, and Thai noodles of all different types.
Okay, all right. Just one more. I'll finish checking the show out and hear what y'all have to say.
Well, great. And listen, don't forget, stay through the whole show, because you want to hear about that big event that we're sponsoring that you might get a chance to get some free tickets to. So, but give them a try, and I think you'll come away saying, well, it wasn't just noodles, okay?
All right.
All right, guys. Thanks for calling. We appreciate it. Okay, Lionel, one more time, we might want to refresh the house noodles again. It's a ramen noodle that you do yourself, and what other ingredients do you normally put in it?
Well, it's also vegetables, Chinese vegetables. We got a little bit of bean sprouts, got mushrooms, onions, scallions. We have, let's see, a little bit of shredded bean I don't know.
Bean curd? Is that what it? No.
It's
mung bean? Well, I don't know.
It's the shredded mushroom.
Okay.
Mushroom kind of.
Now, so it's predominantly vegetarian. But can't you put a meat or a chicken? Yeah.
You can put chicken. All of our noodle entrees, all our stir-fried noodle dishes. You can either put chicken, shrimp, the seafood combination, which is the shrimp scallops and the fish cake. And or you can get the tofu, or you can just have it with just the vegetables.
Just the vegetables. So you see, what we're saying here is you've got at least 5 different combinations or anything within that. Then you've got the almost unlimited number of noodles, sizes, shapes, tastes, and different presentations, whether you want it in soup, whether you want it sauteed, whether you want it steamed. So different ways of presenting different things makes what seems like a limited number almost an unlimited number. Now, this is the only one that drove me crazy when I saw it, and that's angel hair with marinara sauce.
Yes, you will. You know, Bob, I have 2 kids that would only eat spaghetti and, meatballs. And, they love my marinara sauce. So, since I was in the quarters, I should put out, something that, my family loves my marinara sauce. So I make my own marinara sauce, and I do. And, I just serve it with the angel hair noodles. And, Bob, it's funny, but I sell so many angel hair with marinara sauce. I think my regular customers, if they're watching, they can tell you that.
Well, and then this is what's great. For folks who haven't tried your noodles, like maybe our last caller, you can go in there and you take a look around. If you haven't seen the pictures or you see something that just doesn't look to you, you got a fallback. Here, I can't believe it. But it's just like every restaurant has to have a steak in America. Here you have something so an American can go there and recognize if he or she gets a little queasy or if he's part of a dining group that's really all pro-Asia and he or she is not, they can have good old basic marinara sauce. So you can't beat that. That is a great, great combination. All right, so what we're going to do, is there one more thing, is a Chinese Zuma soup, is that it?
The Chinese nama soup.
Nama soup. Tell us about that before we move on.
The Chinese nama soup is also made with the Chinese ramen soup that they're
Now this is entree portion, right?
Correct. This is a big bowl of soup that most people, I mean, there are some people that finishes it, but, you know, a lot of people don't. But it's a big bowl of soup. You get a lot of vegetables in there, a lot of noodles. You know, you get either chicken, shrimp, and it's a chicken broth. It's made with a chicken, so it's nice chicken noodle soup. It has different kind of herbs in it that we cook it with. It's kind of like aniseed that we put in there to give it a different aroma to it. And then we put a little bit of licorice in it. So it has a very, very, I mean, the aroma is just great in this soup, Bob.
Right.
I just really don't know what to tell you, but then it's something everybody should try if they want soup.
Okay, great. Now let's quickly go through a couple of the other combination plates because then we're going to take it back to our musician. And these are some of the things you'll see in the Japanese and Chinese. We talked about, of course, we showed you the great teriyaki, which we said could be chicken or could be shrimp. But you also have a garlic chicken combination. What is that plate, garlic chicken?
Well, garlic chicken is a breast of lightly fried chicken. It's then cut up into little bite-sized pieces, and then we top it off with a garlic sauce.
Okay.
It's like a homemade garlic sauce. It's a little bit sweet, a little bit garlicky.
General Xiao's chicken, that's pretty Chinese, right?
That's Chinese.
Tell us, well, again, a lot of people are familiar. We've always had Chinese here in our city, but it's only been since the 80s that we started bringing the other nationalities. So, I mean, even though that's 20 years by now, you'd think everybody is familiar with it. Still, the Chinese contingency is always the majority. So tell us about it, because that's a very popular dish, I can imagine.
Well, like you said, Bob, I mean, you can't do a Pan-Asian restaurant without General Tso's chicken. I mean, everybody loves General Tso's chicken. It's we make it there fresh every time you order it. So, you know, General Tso's chicken, just let you know, if you do order, it takes a little bit longer than our other dishes because we do have to fry it then and there, and then we have to make our sauce then and there. So it's just, you know, you get fresh General Tso's chicken, sweet and spicy.
Okay. And lastly, is this, I don't know the type of mayo tofu? What is that?
Mapo tofu.
Mapo. Mapo, M-A-P-O.
Correct. It's,
Tell us, what nationality is that?
It's Chinese.
That is Chinese.
That is
Okay,
Chinese.
one more Chinese dish for you folks. Tell us about your tofu.
Mapo tofu is actually stewed tofu. It's just stewed cubes of tofu with peas, carrots, onions.
Wow.
And it's stewed for a while, so the flavor actually kind of just absorbs into the tofu.
In the tofu, so it really acts like a sponge. It just draws
Correct.
everything in.
That's one thing great about tofu is just it absorbs all the flavors around it. I mean,
Yeah, Americans, unless they're really health kind, are really kind of afraid of tofu. You know, they think that's a fancy name and they're afraid of it. But it's strictly just a block or a cube, and it just looks like cream or anything. And basically, it's consistency. It's no flavor, so anything you put into it is gonna really absorb that. Well, folks, we've been talking with Lan Do. She's the co-owner, partner, and chef at the Noodle Bar and Tea Shop. And we're going to talk more about the tea. We haven't said a thing about tea yet, and that's when we come back and do our dessert portion after the musician. But again, they're right on Decatur, 700 block, directly across from the cathedral, right on the side of the steps as you go up to the moonwalk, and in between the steps and the Café du Monde. Open 7 days a week from 11 in the morning to, I think she said, 10 at night. Delivery, can you believe it? Delivery in the Quarter, Marigny, and CBD. So, folks, you know when wintertime comes, you can't get out of that office. What better choice? Give them a call. What we're going to do now is let you hear some more of that raspy voice of Camille Alba. She's going to do a second song for us. So let's go back and hear from Category 5.
Pretty Boy Floyd next. Sipping brandy, writing down all the different ways he puts me down. Call me crazy, but I found Like they say, true love is hell. Needs I know I've got to satisfy. 'Cause my man, he's got that roving eye. But I love him just the same. That's why I keep on shouldering all the blame. Pretty Floyd, he's got those baby blues. And the ladies know that he's bad news. But I love him just the same. And so I keep on shouldering all the blame. Call me crazy, but I found I'm thinking about keeping him around. Call me crazy, but I found I'm thinking about keeping him around. Call me crazy, but I found I'm thinking about keeping him around.
Okay, that was a jazzy little number by Camille Alba in Category 5. We're glad that they let us show their tape again. We're here with Londo of the Noodle Bar and Tea Shop, and we're ready to get into the teas because that's the other element of it. First, we always do some desserts. Again, her dessert menu per se is limited because most of the desserts are her great specialty teas. But let's take a look at the quick selection of ice creams. I believe they're Japanese. What do you have? Green tea ice cream, and what's the other one again? Red bean?
Red bean ice cream, correct.
Now people say, red bean, how can you do it in New Orleans? How can you do red bean? That's horrible. They don't realize the bean is totally different. It's so small, and the flavor is almost like black cherry ice cream. It's nothing to do with red beans, so don't be afraid, oh, it's going to taste like red beans and rice. Absolutely nice, really nice. Really nice. And the green tea ice cream is the healthy, same flavor, but again, a little creaminess. So you can, there's a side-by-side look. But now let's get into it. Really is important, the teas. Now you can get hot teas, cold teas, pots of green tea, pots of Chinese tea, any tea one. But what's really good are the specialty teas. First one we're going to show you is usually exclusive to a Thai restaurant. It's called as Thai tea for Thailand. And notice, let's tell us what's in Thai tea besides tea itself.
Thai tea is made of a red tea. It has like a little bit of cinnamon in it. That's why it gives it a little bit of a reddish flavor.
Color, yeah.
It has it's made with cream and sugar, so it's a nice.
Do you use condensed
dessert.
milk?
Not in the Thai tea, we don't. We use half and half.
Half and half. Some people use half and half. Some people use condensed.
Correct.
But what's good about it, it's iced tea with that great milk flavor and, of course, the flavor of the color of the tea. That is very traditional in Thailand. You can get it here as well. But now let's look at some of the specialties that you probably won't find anywhere else. And these are ones that are really good. One, we mentioned about, we're going to take a look at all three teas together individually. You'll see an iced green tea. That's there on the left of your screen. A magnificent red soda strawberry tea. And the best mint tea. You talk about a mint julep. The best spearmint tea in there. Let's take a look at each one individually, and you can tell us about what is iced green tea. A lot of folks know green tea in a Japanese restaurant, but it's always served hot. So what is iced green tea?
Well, you know, the weather in New Orleans, Bob, is just, you know, you probably can only drink hot tea probably 3 months year round. And since green tea's been, you know, brought to the public where it's with all this antioxidants and things like that, green tea is just a little bit more healthier for you. And it's also made with ginseng. It can be sweetened or unsweetened. So it's just a nice, refreshing, healthy drink.
Really, yeah, there you go, folks. It almost looks like lemonade. The color is so great, but it's just as refreshing and healthy for you. So definitely a cooling element. Now, here's the best. I know we all love I Crave smoothies. That's been a real big California concept that came to New Orleans and everywhere in the States. The good thing about this, folks, they don't have any of the milk or the creams or the yogurts. It's so natural. Let's take a look at your strawberry tea. And this is so full of strawberries. It is, especially right now with the Ponchatoula strawberries coming in, really great. Let's talk about your strawberry tea. Delicious and refreshing.
Well, Bob, our strawberry tea is made with real strawberries. It's also brewed with Chinese black tea. We take fresh strawberries and we puree it until it becomes a very, very, very smooth and consistent. And then we mix it in with our black tea. And that's how we make our strawberry tea. And it's sweetened with a little bit of sugar. So,
yeah, so it's got a little bit of sweetness in it, but it's not overloaded. All right, now let's take a look at the last one, spearmint. This is my favorite. New Orleans should really worship this because, like I said, they're famous for their mint juleps. Well, this is like a mint julep without the alcohol. So for you people who are not drinking, this is so refreshing. Let's take a look at the amount of fresh spearmint in this thing. It's not one or two pieces like usually you have it for decoration. This is thoroughly through the tea. Let's talk about it, please, in detail.
Actually, our mint tea is actually made like a mint julep. We just use a lot more mint. So, I mean, that's what gives it, we use fresh mint. So we use more of it, so it just gives it a more minty consistency, I guess.
Yeah, for people who like spearmint like myself, it is really the best tasting stuff.
I love the mint tea.
And so refreshing. So that definitely, now you can go out there and when the others are drinking their mint juleps outside at the restaurant, you can have your spearmint tea and it looks the same, but you know it's probably better tasting, certainly better for you. All right, we really have been pleased to have Miss Londo. She's the proprietor, partner, and chef ne'er thee well of a great new restaurant called the Noodle Bar and Tea Shop. We said it's in the 700 block of Decatur, directly across from Jackson Square and across from the cathedral. It's nestled underneath the stairs that go up to the moonwalk, and it's in between the stairs and the Café du Monde. Like I say, you say, how can it be a restaurant? It's very deceiving because it slopes downward, and in front are her 4, 5, or 6 great outdoor tables, so it looks like a wonderful, just a little seating patio. Behind it is a wall of glass where the central wall opens up into this great-looking Chinese, Asian noodle bar, and also with the small tables on the inside. So you can either eat inside, or if the weather's inclement, or a great place outside, take it to go, have it delivered. We have showed you the ins and out of a noodle bar. There's only one other one I know, a noodle restaurant that doesn't have half the amount we have here, and it's way out in Kenner. It's been over a while. So we're so glad to hear. I said, I got to get one uptown for all the students because we have a lot of students that are used to this. This is great, not only tasting food, variety food, but also price, folks. We're talking about remarkably affordable food. So for the quality and the quantity of food, you're not going to do any better on these noodle dishes. So that's what's so good about it. Give it a try. Taste the teas. I know Lon will be glad to see you there, and we'll be happy that you continue to see our restaurants. Okay, now we need to tell you about our special event because we're only 2 weeks away from it. And we're talking about Odyssey House is Crawfish Odyssey. Odyssey House has been here over 30 years, providing long-term inpatient residential